What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I guess notifications didn't go out, child. We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna do the best we can. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Happy Sunday to you all. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something. Shoot. You did? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Good. Glad to see it. Jonathan, if you want to come up, Bill, let me know. I will just I'm dropping the link for Jonathan. Jonathan only. No disrespect. I ain't letting nobody else up but Jonathan. Cause he wanna add his 2 cents about this situation. Jonathan only. You know the funny thing is, Quintessential, is really we can discuss the movie, but it really ain't gonna be no spoilers because they ain't really tell us a whole lot. I mean, it was a few odds and ends in the movie that maybe you'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that happened. Oh, that happened. But if you are a fan and you follow them, you didn't really I didn't learn a whole lot new, to be honest with you. But we're gonna get into it. For those who were in the members only chat, yeah, I went on and ended it because the sound went out. I have no idea what's going on with me, YouTube, and my sound situation. But I really think, how do I say this? I don't think it's me. Because knock on wood, I don't seem to have that problem when I'm doing my reviews or doing other stuff with my sound. It's only, and I don't know because of what I don't know if it's certain topics. Like, I don't know what it is. So I'm sorry that we ended the live. Okay. Jonathan, you want to come on camera? You good? I'm about to let you on. All right. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I think this is your first time at my house.
Yeah, first time. Scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You know we nice over here. This not the house of debauchery. We nice over here. Nah, El Tay would treat you good over there too. You know that.
Yeah.
So how's everything going?
Everything's going well. How about you?
I'm good.
Good.
So we're going to talk about Salt and Pepper first. And Jonathan specifically left a comment that he had some stuff he wanted to say. And you know, Jonathan, he my ace. So I'm gonna let him share his information. So the thing was about is in reference to Spinderella. He said he had some insights on the whole Spinderella situation as far as how she was treated, why she didn't deserve to be treated any differently than what she was treated, or whatever the situation is. I don't want to put words in your mouth. So, I mean, go ahead and share what you're comfortable sharing, and I guess we'll start with the whole Cinderella thing.
All right. So, I
Look
think
at
I told you before.
Abby flirting, Jonathan.
Hey, Abby. I think I told you before that Pepper is real close to one of my family members, my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up in Queens together. And so I can just start from the beginning of what I know from what I've been told. So when they came out in the beginning in the early 80s, of course, they're probably about like 7 years older than me or whatever. But when they came out, of course, you saw in the movie that there was no spin. It was just
right.
And Herbie. And everyone pretty much knows that. And then you saw as time progressed, this is the thing that kills me about people when it comes to Salt and Pepper is that they had out music way before Spin came on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So they started out with the Showstopper, which was their claim to fame, right?
Right.
Behind the Showstopper, you had a song called I Am Down, and then you had them complete a single, which needed a side and a B side, which was the single. The B side was Push It. This was all before Spinderella came on. The first Spinderella came on the scene. They had My Mic Sounds Nice before the first Spinderella. They had Chick on the Side, I Desire. Pretty much that whole Hot, Cool, and Vicious album. When that album actually came out and they started actually doing, concerts and tours, that's when they brought on the first Spinderella, Latoya. Latoya was with them for a set amount of time. Whatever happened between them, they kind of showed you a little bit of what happened. And then they end up hiring Dee Dee, and she was 16 when she came on.
Right.
Her problem has always been, and this is just from what I hear from sources, her problem has always been that she's never really been a part of the group. So she's always spent time trying to be the third group member. They have bent over backwards for years, pulling, because just to be honest, I'm not going to say she wasn't a good DJ. I would never say that, but I would say that I think that she wasn't meeting their expectations. And so they end up pulling her up to the front. They gave her a mic. They had her, in the videos. They had her dancing. By the time Black's Magic came out, I don't know if you remember this, but they had an all-girl band.
Right.
Pleasure. That band came along because of DJ issues. Spin has left the group several times.
Right.
There were several times where she didn't show up because of the same issue. If you watch, now I'll say this about Salt and Pepper. Salt is not going to, she's not going to give you but so much information. So sometimes you have to read between the lines with some of the things that she says. Every time people ask about Spin, if you notice, she will kind of she'll give you a little bit, but she won't go into detail. In the movie, the thing that I appreciated is that they didn't bash her at all. They kind of, looked over, to be honest with you, but they didn't bash her at all. They could have, with the things that transpired between them, as far as her not showing up, her quitting, always, from my understanding, always bringing some type of drama, always playing the victim. And she's done that for years. And they dealt with it. And on the Salt and Pepper show that was on BET, if you notice, Salt, I don't know if you remember this, but if you notice, she began to cry about the situation because she really didn't want to have this discussion with Spin. And this is, like I said, it's been going on for years. Just on the Breakfast Club, she kind of spilled a little bit of stuff. She, gave a little bit more information. She didn't bash her, but she basically said that everybody had different expectations, or everybody thought different things about the way the group should have been. But the issue with Spin is that she's never been, I guess, the third member. She's always been a hired DJ. And they pretty much they cater to her, to be honest with you, because not many people would just bring their hired DJ and put them up in the front, give them a mic, and let them be in all the videos. I mean, to the image that was presented to us was that she was a third member.
And I was going to say, that's probably where they made their mistake. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say this. I hear everything you're saying, and some of that was revealed in that Ladies First or Ladies Night reality show they did last year. And even me, if you go back and look at my reviews, you see my opinion switches based on information, because when you get more information, you can make a better decision. And I'm going to say this. Here's my whole issue with the movie. All of that should have been a part of the movie. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not about bashing, but if you're going to tell the story, if you're not ready to tell the story, then you're not ready to do a movie. And I know that it's tempting. I'm sure there was money involved. I get it. You want to tell your story. It's a respect factor to say, wow, somebody cares enough about our story to make a movie. But if you're not ready to give us the real story, as your fans, that's what we deserve. And it's not about bashing her if that's the truth. I would rather have seen scenes where her equipment is breaking down, or scenes where they are having some creative differences and they're saying, yo, Spin, we've been really nice to you, but at the end of the day, it has always been like, I would rather have seen that play out than for them to totally whitewash it, because by whitewashing it and acting like she was never there or very minimally there, then what, as a fan, that looks to me real shady. But if you address it, you see what I'm saying? If you're addressing it, again, it's not bashing if it's the truth. That's just how I feel about it. If it's the truth, you're not bashing her. Now, you don't have to tell all y'all's business. You see, like the way they did the whole Tretch situation. we didn't have to see Pepper getting her ass beat to get the idea of what you were trying to tell us. Regardless of, I mean, Trudge said it didn't happen. Pep said it did happen. We ain't never gonna know. We won't in their house. But you wrote a book about it, so you had to address it. And they did a good job of not showing up. They walked right to the line. They let you know that in her mind, he was abusive. But they didn't get into, she wasn't walking around with no black eyes and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is I wish as a fan, then that's what they should have given us. Because I think then then we walk away with a better understanding. And I don't think they will be getting the backlash that they're, because a lot they've got. I mean, I've looked at comments even on other videos and stuff. They're getting a lot of backlash because the reality is Spin is winning the PR war.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with Spin is the only one that's being vocal. You know, and I will say this, when it comes to Pepper's she's gonna slip. She's going to slip and she's going to say more than Salt will say. Salt is more or less trying to stay positive on, you know, she's more focused on herself. Even with the situation with her father, situation with, you know, Gavin, she's not going to go in no details or make them look any type of way. She's only concerned with herself, you know, and trying to fix herself. But I do think that Spin is just, well, hey, what can you say? I mean, she's just...
if you look at I'm gonna be honest, if you look at Ladies Night, if you go back, I mean, not you, but people, if they go back and look at the TV show Ladies Night, right? In the beginning, it evolved. And as the show went on, we got more and more information. For example, the fact that she left the group and then came back. And when she came back, they were like, okay, we are hiring you. You are an employee of Salt and Pepper Productions, just like anybody else. You know, those are the kinds of. So as I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute, you know. But when you go back to that era of Black's Magic, that time period, especially growing up and as a fan, it really became Salt, Pepper, and Spinderella. She rapped on albums. She, like you said, she danced. It was she really and so. I know that she didn't start off with them. I know she wasn't their original DJ, and I know that that they didn't originally even have a DJ. Like I know that part of it, but I don't disagree with anything you're saying, because again, enough was said on Ladies Night that sort of is in line with a lot of that. Not so much about like the equipment and all that stuff, but I mean, I'm sure that's just like little tidbit stuff. But the major things, a lot of that was said, but again, you're doing your fans a disservice by not giving us that, because again, the purpose of a biopic is for me to learn something, and I honestly don't feel like I learned a lot about them that I didn't already know.
Right. Now I can agree with that.
I knew more than what they shared. You know And so I feel, so that's, as a fan, I just felt robbed from that aspect. I felt like it was very surface. You know, Salt throwing in, my dad was a raging alcoholic, but then at the beginning of the movie, we saw none of that. It looked like, you know, you came from a perfectly good middle-class home, went to church every Sunday. So you throw it in at the end when you're talking to Pep about her being in an abusive relationship. It's like, okay, I get it if you don't want to dig deep into that. But again, if that's a part of your story, if that's a part of why you chose to stay with Herbie while he was cheating on you with every female that walked, like, if that's a part of your story, then that's a part of your story. You know what I'm saying? And I just like, you know, some things are gossip and don't need to be like we don't need to know every man Pep ever dated. We don't. I mean, we know he dated a lot of people. We don't need to know all that. But at the end of the day, you know, the important stuff we do kind of need to know if you're going to tell it. You don't owe us anything, but you made the decision to tell the story. You know, her not addressing the situation with Gavin, again, I feel like them ending the story in 2005, once again, it's 2021.
And see, I was under the impression from their interview on The Breakfast Club, they said that the movie was going to cover up until now. I didn't know they were stopping.
The movie, right.
They didn't even talk about when they were on VH1.
They didn't do the Hip Hop Awards anymore. Like, it was 2021. I mean, like, we're missing a whole 15 years. Like, what is going on? And so it's like, I feel like if you weren't ready to tell it, because even with, I'm gonna tell you, and I get it, you can only do but so much in 3 hours. Like I get all of that too, but even I feel like we were even robbed with the reconciliation. So y'all didn't perform for 10 years. You didn't speak for 4 years, but miraculously y'all are on stage doing this whole 15-minute routine. Like, how did y'all even rehearse for that? I remember them going through a whole reconciliation situation with Iyanla Vanzant. Like, even if they had shown us somebody being Iyanla and going through a couple of those exercises, like, show us how this happened. Because at the end of the day, friendships go through stuff. You know what I'm saying? Friendships go through stuff. And when you go to make up, there is a process, especially when there's a working relationship involved as well. And I don't know. I just feel I get it and I understand that. And I guess I lean towards Spinderella because I feel like good, bad, or indifferent, she's a part of your story.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest thing with them that's bothering me now is that they won't defend themselves. Like they just let her just go on her rampage and they don't address it. They ignore it for the most part.
And I understand that some of it's legal because I think this lawsuit was settled now, but I know
it's settled.
But there's probably stuff that that they can't say, and I'm fine with that. But you can say enough to acknowledge the situation. Like acknowledge it, it's fine.
And the other thing that I learned, because I called my cousin tonight, the other thing that I learned is that the door is still open. Like they can potentially work on new projects.
With Cinderella?
Yeah, unbelievable, right? But yeah, the door is open.
That's interesting. I found that to be very interesting.
On the Breakfast Club, if you watch the whole Breakfast Club, she does mention that she's reached out to Spin several times. She hasn't had any response.
Salt said that, or Pepper?
Salt reached out to Spin several times and haven't had any response. That was on the Breakfast Club.
Right.
The door is open for them to do stuff in the future. I don't think it would ever happen.
Well, I think that would be based more on monetary than it would be based on we really want to work this out. And again, maybe I'm just looking because to me, that goes back to Spinderella's point. If y'all can make more money with me around, than make more money as just Salt and Pepper, then that goes back to her point that I'm a part of this group. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying that Spin is perfect and an angel and that they're I'm not saying that either. But I'm just saying to me that proves the point that if people, because what that sounds like to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, what that sounds like to me is people are reaching out to them and saying, "Well, we want all three of y'all," because the woman has sued you. You know what I'm saying? Like she has sued you. Y'all have publicly fired her. Like this, it got. And I know that this. I'm not gonna say it because there's always, I guess, room for people. I don't know. That's just. See, this is the
thing. We would have never known that about this had Spin not said something. This would have been an all undercover.
Well, for me, when this whole situation started, I'm gonna be honest. From what I remember. From where I started was when they were on that last tour, I Love Hip Hop tour or whatever. And they fired Spin, right? However that looked like she got fired. That's fine. Well, they fired her. That's but they were still advertising that she was going to be there. And that's when she first went public because she released a press statement saying, I just want to let y'all know, for people who are buying tickets, I ain't gonna be there. And that's how it became. That's what I recall. And that's how it became public. And then that coincided with Ladies' Night, and Spin was like, "Well, it's gonna be played out on the TV show. Like y'all are gonna get more information." But she went public because promoters, and it wasn't Salt and Pepper, it was the promoters were advertising that the flyers had her on the flyers, and she was like, I just want to let people know that I'm not going to be there. So I don't want people showing up and I'm not there and they're going to be like, oh, well, damn, Pep, and let's be clear. T-Lounge, you're right. I'm not going to not go to a Salt and Pepper show because Spinderella ain't there. But if I see a flyer and I expect to see, because that there's certain songs that she's
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think with that first announcement that she came out with, I just thought it was a bit much. Yes, I say address people and let your fans know that you're not going to be there. But then she went all the way in on. I mean, she went all the way in on. And the thing is that she didn't want to agree to the terms that they had. So they had no choice but to let her go. You know, she act like it's something that they just fired her out the blue. This has been going on for years. My only issue with her is that she's just, I understand she has her story, you know, her feelings are hurt or whatever, but she just goes too far sometimes. It's just too far. Especially after you've already been to court, you already tried, you know, sued them. Y'all handled it in mediation, so apparently you did get something.
Yeah, she got a settlement.
Let it go. I mean, at what point do you let it go?
Yeah,
with Spin, for years you've known your position. You why didn't you leave years ago and not come back? Start your own. You know, if you had such an issue with it, you rode the coattail. That's the way I feel. You just rode the coattail. You know, and then
I mean, I mean, it gave her a good life. I mean, I mean, and again, you know, I'm not saying that Spin is right and they're wrong because again, when I heard more of the story, it did, because at first I was all on Spin's side, but then when I got more, and like you said, they need to defend themselves, because when I got more of the story, I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, because then I got more of the story, and I was like, okay, well now hold up, Spin, you know what I'm saying? And so, Lake, for those of you who want more information or whatever, if you didn't watch the Ladies Night, the reality show they did last year with SWV, that gave you a lot of the information. Not the first couple of episodes, but once they got what happened was Salt got pissed off, and Salt let a lot of stuff out. She let a lot of stuff out because she got pissed off. But like you said, she had to sort of be pushed to that point. And Pat was still trying to play mediator up until the last episode is when she finally unleashed on Spin and kind of let her have it. But Salt was the one that sort of let a lot of stuff out, you know. And when you look at the movie last night and you see that Salt was always more of the business person. You know, she started doing producing first. And she's, you know, she was always that person. So I don't know. So so overall, how do you feel about the movie?
It's hard for me because I knew the whole story. Basically, there was nothing in the movie that I didn't know because I grew up with them. You know, it was nice to see a lot of stuff played out. My issue is with the women today, and y'all complain about these wigs. Now, how you're a female, so you can explain this to me. How are they supposed to do better wigs for that time period of the 80s? So you can create a symmetric wig. Everybody been talking about the wigs. I'm just like,
really?
Yeah. On my social media, everybody keep complaining about the wig. Most of the women talking about them wigs.
I think they did a really, listen, let me tell y'all something. Listen, this is what the young kids of today need to understand. And I say the young kids of today need to understand. Back then, they weren't wearing wigs. That was their hair. And we were doing all of that crazy stuff with our hair, shaving it off. I remember, I remember I had the stiff stuff, and my hair would be curling over in those hard curls, and like those weren't wigs, those weren't weaves. That was our hair. And like you said, to recreate those looks, and also remember that Salt-N-Pepa were trendsetters. Like they would come out with a new hairstyle. Everybody wanted that hairstyle. When Salt-N-Pepa did that asymmetrical cut, everybody did that asymmetrical cut. Okay, they were trendsetters. Like they were talking about the ripped jeans in the Shake Your Thing video. They were trendsetters with what they did. And so in order for them to keep up, I don't understand what people wanted them to do. I thought they did a good job with keeping up with the fashions. And a lot of it was iconic. Like when you look at it, you remember, you know what I'm saying? You remembered where you were. You remember that video. You remember that outfit. Like I thought they did. Now that's one of the things I didn't complain about.
It was like
those wigs were god awful, all this talent. I don't think the wigs were that bad. I think they were. I don't think they were that bad.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I complaints that I've heard was the wigs. back to what you said about some of the things that they did show that they didn't, that they should have went a little bit more in depth in with the cutting. I mean,
yeah, they just threw that out there. Like,
I think that was something good. It showed you like human, the cutting and the bulimia. Now forgive me, but I'm trying to figure out from just the movie, from what you presented, is this still an issue? Because you didn't cover how you overcame that. You understand what I'm saying? So it makes me
talk about how you overcame the bulimia, right? You didn't get into that. I mean, you said that was one of the reasons why you left the group, but you talk about how you got through it. And I think now she's publicly talked about her issues with bulimia, but the thing, and I don't know Salt to dislike Salt, but my issue with Salt is because she is so private, she only tells you what she wants you to know. Right. But again, I need the whole story for it to make sense. So if you're going to talk about, the fact that you were bulimic, help us understand, because if you really want to help people understand how you got through it.
Right.
What was the process? Did you go to therapy? Was it just church? Were you able? Did your pastor work with you? Like, we saw that and I thought that was a very powerful scene with her sitting in church and the pastor preaching and her coming to some realizations about stuff. I thought that was a powerful moment. But again, then we just fast forward for the next 10 years of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we saw you had, like, we didn't even know that you had enough. Like, we didn't see Pep pregnant with Egypt. We didn't see Salt pregnant with her second child. They just popped up. They just popped up with another kid. Even that scene where Pep looks like she's contemplating suicide. It's just thrown in. That's a serious thing, that it got so bad for you in that period of time where y'all weren't speaking and y'all weren't together as a group, that you contemplated suicide, and your child basically reminded you that you had something to live for, but you didn't. It was just thrown in.
Yeah. If you're gonna spend 3 hours on a movie, we should have saw that within those 3 hours.
Of course you don't, Abby. Of course you don't.
What's she saying?
Come on, beat the man aside. Talk about Herbie. But she's always said that. She talked about Herbie cheating on her. Like, she ain't hold her tongue on that one. She hold her tongue on that one.
Now with the girls that played them.
Go ahead. What you gonna say, Jonathan?
With the girls that played them, the girl that played Pepper, I think her name is Layla. I think she did a wonderful job. I don't like her as an actress, based off an interview that I saw of her before this came out. I think she's over the top, but I think she did a good job playing Pepper. I was kind of skeptical because of the skin complexion and all that, but that kind of blended in once you actually saw the movie. And I thought the girl that did Salt, I think I can't remember, Gigi or something like that. I thought she did an excellent job as well. So I mean, they could have did better with Tretch and Martin Lawrence.
Lord, right? Martin Lawrence wasn't fat. Why did you got that old chubby man?
Listen, they could have used me to do Martin Lawrence. If they're gonna use a big guy, I would have volunteered.
You say you'd have done it. You'd have. Now I thought it was cute that they used their daughters in that scene. I thought that was cute.
They auditioned for Salt and Pepper, and they didn't get that part. That was the part they got.
Well, that's good. That's good. No nepotism here. And that was Mario Van Peebles' son that played the pimp, that played the guy. That was Mario Van Peebles' son. I don't think. Okay, so let me see. Now I'm just tearing it up. I do think that first wig. I will say this: that first wig that Pepper had on when they first met up at school. Now that thing was hard. that was. I will say that was bad. I don't. Let me say this. If the acting didn't make me say, oh my gosh, the acting, then I'm okay with it. Because a lot of times with these, you'll be like, oh my God, this acting is so bad. But I didn't do that. I think that I don't know. I didn't feel that way about it.
Do you think BET would have did a better job?
I really wish they would have focused more on how much of trendsetters they were. Like, if Salt and Pepper wore it, it blew up. If Salt and Pepper did their hair like that, it blew up. Right. Even when Salt and Pepper did, I mean, he threw it out there when he was talking to the record company about wanting to work with, go-go music. But I don't think people understand, like, Salt-N-Pepa did about 3 or 4 songs that had go-go beats to it. Like it wasn't just that one song. And they did, and they gave credit, which a lot of people don't do. They gave credit to where it came from, and they had, they did the song with EU. Like I don't think a lot of people understand that, and so just stuff like that. I just wish. I don't know. I just wish that they. I just wish I wanted more. And if you had to do it in 2 nights, then do it in 2 nights. But I just felt like it was real surface. It was just so surface. But anyway.
You think BET would have did a better job?
I don't know.
Everyone keeps saying because New Edition biopic was all of that. Everybody says that. But
remember, they gave them more time too. It wasn't a one-night event. And
that's right too. Yeah,
if it was the production company, because it wasn't BET, it was whoever was the production company. And if that was BET, then fine. But the production company, and then breaking it up into 2 or 3 nights like they did with New Edition. Because how many nights was New Edition? Like a 2-night event or 3 nights?
Like 3 nights, wasn't it? About 3.
I feel like, and I honestly feel like they have enough story that they could have given us 2 or 3 nights. I really do.
Yeah.
If they had dug a little, you barely watched it because it was nothing you didn't know.
What?
Like you barely watched it because you weren't learning anything you didn't know. But I feel like. All right, remember, okay, let's go back to that's a good perfect example. The New Edition story. I was a diehard New Edition fan. Grew up, went to every damn concert, read everything I could read, I learned stuff that I did not know with the New Edition story. And even the stuff that I did know, you got more of a context to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I knew that they was broke. I knew that after that first tour, they were still living in the hood. But I did not know that they literally had to sit there and divide up a $20 check. I'm exaggerating, but they had that check and they had to divide it 5 ways. And their mamas was sitting there like, do what? You know what I'm saying? So like you got more of a context. Now that's true. New Edition was willing to go there. Now you're absolutely correct. New Edition was and I think that's the difference. So okay, you know what? Then to answer your question. No, I don't think BET would have done a better job because if Salt-N-Pepa wasn't ready to tell the story, and that's again, going back to my point about including Spinderella, you don't have to like her perspective, but she has a perspective. She was there for a large chunk of y'all's successful years. That doesn't mean that the story started with her. We know that the story already existed before her. I got that. But at the end of the day, because I remember my first concert with Spinderella. I remember them introducing her, and they talked cash shit about the old Spinderella. They talked about her like she stole something. I mean, when I tell you they talked like I said in my review, if it was today with social media, that clip would be all over the internet right now about how bad they talked about that woman that night. Okay, and we were introduced to Spinderella, and I'm telling you, they still weren't headlining when Spinderella was their DJ. So Spinderella, because they were one, I don't remember who the headliner was that night, but they weren't the headliner. So again, she was still there for a large part of those years, not even interviewing her for the story. I think again, you're doing the story a disservice.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it. I'm not saying that Spin is right and they're wrong. I'm not gonna do that, but not having her that's like saying, well, we're not going to talk to Bobby Brown because we kicked him out of the group.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he left during their second album. He left after the second album. He left the group, but he was still a lot. Well, hell, he started the group, but you know what I'm saying? You can't not include him in the story.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's
I felt like that they should have and really I would like to know, did they reach out to her? That's one thing that I would.
No, that's what she said. She said nobody reached out to her for the show.
That's what she said.
Well, you're right. That's what she said. You're right. I can only go by what the woman said, but you're right.
But I want to know what, because I know Salt, if you watch the Breakfast Club, she has stated that she has reached out to her several times and haven't got a response. So I'm wondering what she was reaching out to her about,
You know what? Elisa Jones, honestly, I have no idea. I do not know. I've heard different parts of the story. And you saw in the movie that they insinuated that she was unprofessional and she was sleeping with Herbie. But as far as
the first DJ?
Yeah. What's the story?
The first DJ, it was the issue with Herbie, but it was more of her not showing up for practices. What you saw is basically what happened. Basically, what you saw, it was just a little bit deeper with her not showing up to practices and stuff. And her and Saul never got along, you know, from day one, from my understanding. Yeah.
Well, they showed that in the movie too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know.
Just like Pep and Herbie never got along.
No. No. Well,
you know what? Even going back to when I was younger, I was never crazy about Herbie Love Bug. Even in interviews back when he was still with them, he just came off so arrogant and came off so aloof. Like even in interviews, he would sit there with his shades on, and you know they would give him all this praise, especially Salt, because of course that was you know that was her man, and she would give them, and he would just be sitting there like, yeah. I was like, who? What?
Yeah, interesting. Somebody said Salt is not as nice as she comes off as she plays to be. I think she's a no-nonsense person. But.
Yeah, I think Salt is Salt always saw the business side of this. And I think if Pepper had been a little more open. Now, I thought it was interesting that Pepper was the one that was like, we getting robbed. And we need to go. I found that interesting that Pepper was the one that kind of was the one that was like, But I think when it comes to branding, and one thing Salt said in the after show last night, and she said that artists of today have more opportunities, especially female artists have more opportunities at branding. You know, you look at the Nicki Minaj's and the Rihanna's and the Meg Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's, and you look at the endorsements and all of that. They have she said, so the money is there that wasn't there for us.
Right,
you know?
right.
And she said, I'm happy for it. But I really think that Salt had the mind for it if they had the right guidance or mentors. I think if a couple of those men had, like, for example, they talk about how Russell Simmons gave them a hard time and basically said they're just a one-hit wonder and they ain't gonna last. But I feel like the Russell Simmons of the industry has said, wow, we got these women and they are doing the damn thing. Let's take them under our. I feel like they could be the LL Cool J's, you know, as far as their legacy financially. You know what I mean? Like I know they've done some great deals in the last 10 years. Like they have the makeup and they've done different, they've done some branding, but that money wasn't always there for them.
Yeah. And one thing about Pepper is that she's very, very, very smart. I thought that the movie, they would tone her down a little bit, but she, she put it all out there.
Pepper always been a wild one. And the one thing I love about Pepper is that she's always been unapologetically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And I wish, let me tell you again, it's so much that I know to be true that I wish they would talk about. I wish they would have dug, again, they mentioned it, but I wish they would have dug deeper into because some of the conflict came in Salt not wanting to perform certain songs anymore and Salt not wanting to do certain things as far as the routine is concerned. You know, that again, you messing with our money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If that's the song that people want to hear, because at one point Salt didn't even want to do Push It anymore.
No.
Ain't no way in hell you can have a Salt and Pepper concert and not do Push It. I'll be honest with you, I don't even like the song, but it's iconic. I was never a fan of Push It because I just thought it was too basic. It was more of a call and response. It wasn't a rap song. It was more of a dance record. It was more of a call and response. Like, you ain't doing that much rapping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I remember seeing them perform it on Soul Train, and of course they were lip syncing because of Soul Train. But I remember that, like, they literally were just walking around the stage because there's no lyrics. It's such a basic song. It's a song that'll make you get up and dance, but I was never, Yeah.
I just
with Salt, Pepper, and Queen Latifah. Yeah, Push It definitely has a dance beat. Oh, the beat is there for Push It. Right. That was because of her husband, but it was also because of her getting saved and her rededication to the church. But I went to some of those concerts, and Pep would still be doing Pep, and Salt would be on the side letting Pep do her thing.
Have you ever been to a concert to see Salt walk off stage before?
Yes.
Like now, what happens now is like if Pep wants to do none of your business, Salt will walk off stage.
Yeah.
Up there, let her do it.
And the last time I saw them in concert, I saw them here in DC a few years ago, with Jill Scott and Kim and all of that. And she literally brought her husband out on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So she performed with her, she performed What a Man with her husband and None of Your Business with him standing on stage. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I can respect that, but you definitely just saw the difference. You saw the difference.
Yeah.
So I'll take your man as my and I'll take your man as my shit. Let me tell you something. To this day, I know every word, every lyric. Listen, me and my friends had a whole routine to the song. I could probably still do the damn routine. Okay, because again, they were iconic. I don't think, unless you you don't understand if you weren't there or went through it. Like if you're older, you don't get it. You see them as the icons that they are. You respect the fact that they're the icons that they are, but you really truly don't understand that this was a man's world, and they were the first MCs that weren't being men. You know what I'm saying? Like they were on stage as sexy, as feminine. Like you had the Roxanne Shantays, you had others, but they were very seldom sexy and really lead into their femininity. You know what I'm saying? Femininity. But they and again, seeing it, I just don't think the movie gave us enough to understand just how much of a trendsetter and how, like, I would have loved to see some of those scenes where they meet their fans and all of them had their outfits on or had their hair cut the same way, like after they did their hair like that, or the ripped up jeans. Like they were just iconic,
I wanted to see them show why the last album was a flop. That's one of the things that I wanted to see, because that last album was good to be, but it was a flop, and that's when they kind of like broke up after that. But
I think a lot of it with the last album, and I don't remember a lot about the last album, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I think in that moment, they became a victim of what a lot of hip hop at that time. The trends were changing. You started having the Little Kims of the world come along. That the respectable sex kitten, which is what they really were, was sort of becoming passe. And now you had the Little Kims knocking down the doors and stuff like that. And I think they sort of just became a victim of trends changing. They didn't do anything different. It's just
I kind of referred the last album to to the likes of the first album, because the the rapping on those songs were very deep and they were good. I mean, it was a better version of Salt and Pepper than I've ever seen, but it didn't go anywhere. So,
and again, people don't want to see that from them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like when you have a fan base and your fan base is used to this. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, we want to switch it up. Like you see it happen with artists all the time. They want to do something different. Remember, again, I'm going back in my hip hop history, but remember when LL Cool J came out with that whole album and it was like plastic bags and the pink cookies, and I'm going back to Cali, and people was looking at him like what the hell is this?
Yeah, y'all dropped
his next album I think was Bigger and Deffer. Like he immediately switched it up, like, okay, all right then. Y'all not feeling that. And so I just think that's what it was. I don't think it was probably a horrible album. I just think that hip hop was in a different place.
Right.
And remember they were mothers now, and they were people were looking at them differently too. Fair or not, it just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Right, little baby. It was no longer bubblegum. People want the bubble gum. Like, you become a victim of people not wanting you to grow up and evolve. And we as the fans sort of do that. You know what I mean? We don't want them to grow. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like the whole Black's Magic phase.
No.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't. I mean, I know people love What a Man. I'm not a fan of What a Man. I'm not a fan. Like, listen, my first two albums, my favorite Salt and Pepper albums are the first two. Everything after that is okay for me. But that's me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the What a Man, the None of Your Business, I ain't like none of that shit.
That was on a very necessary album.
Yeah, it had to grow on me. Like
Yeah.
all of that, express yourself. All of that had to grow on me.
Yeah.
You know, when I first heard it, I wasn't like, okay, it had to grow on me. But when I first heard "Get Up," the first time when you heard that beat drop, dun 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 dun, dun like just that first, like it didn't matter what they said, you heard that dun 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 dun. dun.
Look, you about my age, so it must have turned you into a high school gangster.
Right. But see, and I think that's an age thing too. We were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, we were there from the beginning. Like I remember, because like they didn't even acknowledge that in the movie. Their original name was Supernature. Their original name was not Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, it was Supernature. Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why y'all acting like that was y'all name the whole time? It wasn't. Anyway.
Yeah, thank you for letting me come on and speak.
No, thank you for coming on because again, you give us a different perspective, and I think I agree with you that they are becoming a victim of not defending themselves.
Yeah, they need to.
And I mean that's fine. You know?
Now Pepper will do it first. Pepper go explode before too long, because you know she's kind of special.
Okay.
Well, she gonna get her. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna go on for so long. She gonna get her.
It's interesting, but anyway, well, thank you for coming on, John. We're gonna be on here too much.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, I will check. I'm going back in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Afro Delight say, none of your business. I know that's right. And if she sell it on the weekend or whatever it goes, none of your business. I know that's right. Yes, that's Jonathan Ford, the Nene fan. I should have let him give Nene a shout out before he left. That's the Nene fan. But Jonathan, thank you for coming on. Jonathan knows them personally, and he had a little bit of insight, and so he wanted to come on and sort of give us that other perspective. Because again, with more information, the more information you had, the more of a opinion, a better informed opinion you can have. So I appreciate it a lot. So yeah, Joshua, to be honest with you, baby, I'm not going to do that on my channel as far as the Jaguar rights situation. One, because I just don't care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't care. So yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Ghost was written by Prince. I don't know. Yeah, so that was the Salt and Pepper movie. If you haven't caught my review, go catch my review. You'll get more of a overview of how I felt. But ultimately, I was disappointed as a fan. I just felt like as a fan, you did not give me anything. And thank you, Jonathan, for bringing up New Edition, because I think that is the perfect example of how you do a biopic. If you're not ready to put it all on the table and let the chips fall where they may, then it's not time for you to tell your story. Now, if somebody else wants to tell your story and wants to get into the salaciousness, it's nothing you could, if they want to do an unauthorized biography, then that's it. You can't do nothing about that. But when you are an executive producer, if you're not ready to be honest with your fans, and again, that doesn't mean you have to tell us every deep, dark secret, but dig a little deeper. I just feel like as a fan, I just didn't learn anything. Like you just didn't tell me nothing. Nothing that I didn't already know. There were very few things that were revealed in that movie that I did not know. Very few. And it's funny. I feel like I knew more than what you showed me in the movie. None of Your Business was supposed to be Ghost, written by Prince. Oh, so there's a song called Ghost by Prince, and they took and put words to it and made it None of Your Business. I don't know what you're saying, T Lounge. I'm sorry, baby. I don't know what you're saying. Now, I think if SWV did a biopic, baby, I think they put it all on the table. Now, that would be a biopic for you. I think they telling that story. Now, I think they telling that story. But that's a group that's ready to be transparent. See, I think Pep is ready to be transparent. I think Salt isn't. Like she says, I ain't gonna talk about my daddy. I'm not talking about my marriage. Well, the hell? And you could even see in the movie that that Pepper was ready to tell more than Salt was. I mean, you can see it in the movie. Oh, you mean like a ghostwriter? Oh, I thought you. Okay, Lady T, listen, thank you. I'm a little late. Hey, what's up, Tabitha? Hey, boo. Listen, I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes. You mean a ghostwriter? Got it. Okay. So None of Your Business was written by Prince, allegedly. Well, yeah, it may. Listen, Coco got issues. I can't believe Coco got a divorce. Shit. Anybody can get a divorce, child. Anybody can get it. So that's the Salt and Pepper situation. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I got more out of the reality show, child. All right, y'all. So look, I ain't really gonna dig too deep into this. Kenya Moore's husband showed his petty side by announcing that they are getting a divorce again on her birthday weekend. I think that's just some petty mean shit. Like, you could have waited till Monday. You could have not said nothing at all because nobody really cares about y'all situation because y'all break up to make up. But how you gonna announce that y'all getting a divorce on her birthday weekend? That's just dirty. That's dirty. That's dirty. You know what I'm saying? A Lil' Kim movie? That's another one that I don't know if she's ready to tell the whole story. I don't know if she's ready to be honest. I think she's ready to tell some parts of her story. But I don't know if she's ready to tell all of her story. Yeah, so that's that's all I was gonna say about that, because at this point, I don't care whether they're together or not. Like, child, at this point. And he used it as a way to promote his restaurant. You say the agreement was over, Tabitha. I know that's right. It expired on her 50th birthday. He said, listen, let me tell you something, okay? Well, the thing about that, Bap, is if Kenya is true in what she's saying on the show, that they don't have a prenup, this divorce could get very ugly. Because he does not, and I don't know this man, but he does not come off as the type of person that'll be like, listen, we know that this just never was good. This was never a good situation. I'm going to just leave it what I came with. If there's no prenup, I see him making this hard. That's just me. Didn't get mad at Notori playing her and said the movie made her seem like a hoe. Yeah, she didn't like Notori Naughton playing her because Notori Naughton was too dark. She didn't like that. I don't know about the second part, but I do know that she did not like that. So yeah, that's that. And then Soulja Boy, y'all. Have y'all seen that? With Soulja Boy's former assistant / girlfriend is accusing him of sexual assault and not paying her. So, of course, he's denied it. He said that ain't what happened. That ain't, the truth will be revealed, and that ain't how that whole thing went down. Again, I have to tell people, if she was your assistant first, then the minute y'all started sleeping together, you should have fired her, just made her your girlfriend. That's never gonna work. She said that he imprisoned her, refused her, stopped her from leaving out the house. The accusations are kind of bad. And then and owe her some money. Oh, thank you, Jason. Hey, thank you. Yeah, the Soulja Boy story is very interesting. And again, y'all know that, I try not to judge when we're talking about victims and stuff like that. But Yeah, we definitely saw him being abusive to Naya on when they were on Celebrity Boot Camp. As we definitely saw him being abusive when he's high and drunk and all of that. So I ain't gonna sit here and say that I don't believe that he could have done this to this woman. That ain't what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna stop. I ain't gonna say no because I feel like if I talk, if I keep talking what I'm thinking, it's not gonna come out right, and I don't want to offend nobody, child. Hold on a second, y'all. Yeah, he's definitely capable of what he's being accused of. I just when I read, and I haven't read the whole thing. When I read some of the accusations, I'm like, so yeah, he was in love with hip hop. I'm like, so you worked for him for an extended period of time, and over this extended period of time, you're saying that he sexually assaulted you multiple times, imprisoned you, and still didn't pay you. I'm gonna just leave that right there. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna wait and see what more information come out. I'm gonna just leave that right there. But definitely, he has shown us behavior that is not good. We've definitely seen behavior that's not good. Yeah, that's a good way of saying that, Tabitha. I just hope that the truth comes out. That's a good way of saying that. That's a good way of saying that. Absolutely. I just hope that the truth comes out. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, y'all. Anyway, let me get ready to get off of here. It's 8 o'clock. But she's stupid because after he put hands on her the first time, she should have left. You know, people always say that like it's like that's just like, you know, I don't know how many different times and ways that people can let you guys know that there's a psychology of abuse and that sometimes it just ain't that easy. Well, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do Bridgerton. I'm not gonna do Bridgerton today because I'm gonna get off here, you guys. We'll do Bridgerton tomorrow. We'll talk about because you know Salt and Pepper took up almost the whole time, so we'll do Bridgerton tomorrow. But I really, and that's why I'm being very careful with my words because I really want us to get away from saying, "All right, Tabitha, thank you." I really want us to get away from, well, why she just leave when it happened the first time? I mean, clearly, you know, we know that women stay in abusive relationships for years. You know. But I will say this: Bridgerton was renewed for season 2. It was renewed for season 2, so we will get. No, Bridgerton is not based on a true story. There are characters in the story that were real characters, but Bridgerton is just it's not a true story. Yeah, and so season 2 is going to focus on Anthony's story. The oldest brother is going to focus on his story. Yeah, and so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Really, I guess normal for people to work. It had to come out. I thought I was about to call, and that came out. Hey, Markel, what's up? I wouldn't let any female relative of mine within 10 feet of Soulja Boy. I know that's right.
Who's Soulja Boy? Yeah.
Well, he's been accused of sexual assault. She said she believe it. All right, y'all. Hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Is that my younger sister? Child, no, that's my niece, child.
I'm not old enough to be my younger sister.
Did you really?
Did you just call me out my name?
No, I didn't. I said, did you really?
Oh, yes.
I wouldn't call you out your name like that.
Yes. Oh, I knew they was going to be winning. But yes, I am not young. I'm not like that old to be here.
Yes, this live is about to be over. You just got a notification? Sorry, we've been on here for an hour, child. Thank you. Yes, you are, Niecy. Yes, you are. You are.
Y'all don't even know my age.
But I know you old. You old.
I'm in my 20s.
That doesn't mean you're not old enough to be my sister.
It's how many age gap between you and your older sibling?
What?
How many years? 5, 10?
It was 12 years between
12 years?
between Monique and your dad.
Mm-mm.
Yes, there is.
No, I'm saying that's true. But me and you, mm-mm.
Right, you missed Jonathan's on-screen debut on my channel, Markel. You got to go back to the beginning. Yeah, who cooked? All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Bye. See y'all later.